Hello, so welcome back. This is the second part following your warm-up of your first Pilates online video. So we did the standing warm-up, we did a bit of spinal articulation. We're going to roll down to the mat now into box position. If you have any back issues which mean you shouldn't perform forward flexion in the form of a roll down, then I want you to transition carefully down to the floor now with the help of a chair or the wall if you need to. So just being careful as you come down. So I'm going to start at the end of the mat, take a big breath in for the roll down, and then an exhale, dropping the chin forwards and thinking about just rolling through that centre line carefully. Hands to your knees if you need to, bend the knees if you need to as well, otherwise reaching down as far as that back line of muscle will allow you to go, bending the knees and coming down into your box position. So this is where some of you may need to pad underneath the knees. Some of you may not be able to perform the palm down position, and you might need to come onto your fists. So obviously just modify that as appropriate as you would do in the studio. We're just presuming that you don't have wrist handles at home, so fists are just as good. If you want to pad underneath the knees, you're going to be able to use your rolled towels from home to do that. So we want to create a vertical line, shoulder to wrist, hip to knee, on all four of those limbs there. And as I look in the mirror there, I'm seeing a nice square shape from wrist to knee to hip, and then hip across to shoulder, hence that term box position. The head position is neutral, so if the head's in the correct place, when you come back up, you should be focusing forwards. What we see a lot in the studio is people dropping the head down, obviously to test whether or not that's right. When you come back up, you're looking straight down at the mat, so the head just, very easy, just in that neutral position. So from here, we're going to do arm slides first, followed by leg slides. I want to take my right arm forwards without the spine tipping to the side. So to do that, I'm going to push more weight into that left hand, or left fist if you're on the fist, more weight into the right knee, and then I'm going to take that right arm forwards without any tilt of the spine, and then I'm going to lower that back down, and I'm going to come back onto my all fours there. I want to take the left arm forwards now, so more weight into the right hand and the left knee, and then drawing that back down. And as well as thinking about where I'm placing the weight as I move from side to side, I'm also pulling that belly back and into the spine, because I want my pelvis to stay neutral. I don't want it to tip forwards, I don't want it to be curled under, I want it to be neutral before I start, and those shoulder blades to be parallel. So right arm forwards, pressing into the left hand, lower back down, left arm forwards, pressing into that right hand, and then back into that palm or fist print. Right arm forwards, pressing into the left hand, and remember the right knee, lower back down, left arm forwards, pressing into the right hand and the left knee. When you've got your head around the exercise, remember you can keep replaying the video, replaying the cues until you get that right. After you've got that exercise really firm in your head, we want 10 alternate arm raises there. So we've got 10 good quality movements. So I'm just going to do a couple more. I just keep focusing on the top of my mat there, so you can focus on the end of your towel. And then back to box position. So now I'm going to give the wrists and the shoulders and the spine a break by coming into rest position and then forwards again. So I'm not going to sit all the way back and hold rest position, because I don't want to sit all the way back there so early on in the mat sequence. I want to just allow the lower back to gently stretch, coming in and out of that stretch there, in case that back's quite stiff. So I'm going to take an inhale as I tilt back, and then an exhale as I come forwards. Inhale back and exhale forwards. So for those of you with knee problems, you might not be able to come all the way back, so just go as far back as you comfortably can, and then forwards into your box position. Okay, back to box now. I'm just going to come forwards on the mat slightly, because I'm going to do leg slides now, and I need that room behind me. So if I'm sliding my right leg away, it makes sense that I push harder into my right hand. And if I'm pushing into my right hand, I'm pushing into my left knee. To allow the right leg to slide away, I'm just going to check the posture there. Only take the leg as far away as you can keep that spine nice and stable. So hopefully a full leg slide, squeeze the buttock, bring it back in, and then change that weight placement. So left leg away is pushing into the left hand of the right knee, lengthen, keeping the head still, relax the shoulders down, all the way through. I'm pulling that belly back to the spine, so I'm using that pelvic floor sufficiently to stop any tilt of the pelvis as the leg slides away and returns back in. My hip bones here and here are staying symmetrical, shining straight down towards the floor. And again, I'm going for that set of 10 after the exercise has been set up properly. So I'm just going to do another one there now. Lengthen and then return back in. And then again, I'm going to hinge in and out of that rest position. So bottom to the heels and forwards. If that back feels quite free, you might want to sit there for a second or two, as long as there's no restrictions in the hips or knees. And I'd say looking ahead for this one, so you're just activating the neck muscles to keep the weight of the head balanced. Keep pressing into the heel of the hand to get that stretch into the shoulders and into each side of the spine. Okay, so one more there. And then back. Alright, now, so we're going to come onto our spine into supine. This is where we're going to need these pillows. So I've just got one hand towel here. I'm going to fold that in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. And that is about the thickness of one of our studio pillows. If you normally have 2 pillows, I'd fold it in half again. So that's like 2 studio pillows. If you normally have 3, it's another hand towel. 4, another hand towel, fully closed like this one. So just logically use your hand towels to replace your pillows in supine. I'm going to take mine out there. If you have pillows in your lower back when you're lying on your spine, it's exactly the same again. So you can create the equivalent thickness of a studio pillow by folding in half and in half again. And if you need a thicker one, fold in half one more time. So I'm just going to leave that there. And then we'll come down onto our back with your head on your towel. So just carefully down, legs and feet here, hip distance apart, feeling for those triangles beneath the feet. As you look at your knee joints, you want to think about a line from the centre of the knee all the way down to those 2 front hip bones, so you know your legs and feet are in position. Your pelvis is here again. We just want to tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards carefully, so we're pushing down the lower back into the floor and releasing that. Try not to move any other part of the body, so head, ribs, legs, feet still, isolating that pelvis just as you did when you were stood up, moving in and out of neutral until you can feel the weight on the back of the pelvis. Remember your sacrum here, the weight is off your lower back, so you've got that little curve there. And then the next weight that you're going to feel is the back of your rib cage, followed by your head. So we've got 1 head weight, 2 rib cage weight, 3 sacrum weight, and 4 the weight of those feet there. Some people, when they lie on their backs in this position, the lower back starts to ache a little bit. If that's you and you're feeling any tugging and pulling in the lower back, or if you know from class that you should do, we pop that pillow in that lower back region there just to relax down into. If you haven't got your pillow at home, you're using your towel, so this is where you just fold your towel in half and in half again and just pop it in that lumbar space there. Okay, so from here, we're just going to move into some basic limb challenges, the first of which is going to be your knee drops. So again, I want you to hold on to your 2 front hip bones there for this one. Legs and feet, we're going to keep hip distance apart. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to drop your left knee down towards the side, coming onto the outside edge of your left foot without letting the pelvis drop with it, and then bring that left leg back in, right into position. Same with the right leg now. So breath out, drop down, breath in, and draw it back. And again, so lower it down, and then draw it back in. I'm going to change that breath there, so I want you to use an inhale as you lower down. So we're using the exhale on effort. So inhale as you drop down, exhale with the effort of drawing that leg back in. So big breath in, and then exhale with the effort of drawing that leg back in. Big breath in to lower, and then again exhale to pull that weight back in. Once you've set up the exercise, as we've said for all of the others, do yourself a nice decent set of 10, and then we're bringing everything back to neutral. So that's a hip mobility exercise. So abduction is one of the hip movements, and adduction as you come back in. So we're hitting that sort of hip range of movement there with that exercise, as well as using the leg to challenge our ability to keep the core nice and still. So the second hip range of movement that we're going to go through is hip extension. So I'm going to get you to slide your left heel away without again moving the pelvis. And take a breath in. And then slide the heel back. So this is going to be slow. Breath in here. And then breath out as you slide the opposite heel away. I want you to hold, take a breath in. And then breath out, slide back in. Inhale, stop, and exhale away. So if you've noticed there, we're just breathing out on movement, inhaling to pause, and then with movement, exhale to draw back in. So sometimes we find it hard to slow these things down, but if we can slow the exercise down, we're going to be making sure that we're checking in and using the right muscles. So we're going to be able to check whether or not the pull of that leg is causing the lower back to arch. If so, we're going to use a little bit more pelvic floor. And we're just going to keep it nice and steady and slow. We're also checking for those cheek muscles, those tight muscles that kick in when we're stressed or anxious. So lots of those at the moment. And we're going to have a chance to switch off muscles like the jaw and the shoulders, so that we can switch on the right muscles, those tummy muscles there. Okay, so you're doing your 10 alternate repetitions of this. I'm just going to do a couple more, and I'm feeling all the time to see where that pelvis is. And one last one. And then back to centre. Just to add with that one, if you find it difficult to relax your shoulders down, and lots of people do and will at the moment, one of the best things is to lift up your arms as you do that exercise. It takes that shoulder tension away instantly. It's very hard to squeeze and tense the shoulders when those arms are lifted. So if you're struggling to relax them down, don't worry about that pelvis. Feel for the weight of the back of it to keep it still, and lift those arms away from the floor. Okay, so we're going to try arm slides now. So that was a leg challenge. This one's an arm challenge, so challenging you to keep your back still while those arms pull away. So again, same breath pattern. Exhale as you take the right arm up and over, only as far as that back doesn't arch. Inhale, hold. Exhale, take it back down. Inhale, prepare. And again, exhale, reach up and over with that left arm. The objective isn't to touch the floor here. Breath in, and then exhale, take it back. So we're trying to keep that shoulder blade pressed down as that arm reaches up and over. We're trying not to affect that spinal position, and we're trying to keep that spine nice and long, and the rest of the body relaxed. So one of the big Pilates principles is isolation, being able to move one body part whilst keeping the rest of that body nice and still. So again, you're doing your 10 repetitions after you feel you've fully understood the exercise. And I'm just going to do one more on that left side. And then back in. Okay, so we're going to kind of put the leg and arm movement together now into starfish. So there's going to be double pull on that spine for you to stabilise with those pelvic floor muscles. So I'm going to have a go at taking the left arm back and the right heel away at the very same time without allowing that spine to arch. Inhale again, and then exhale, draw the opposite leg and arm back in at the same time if you can, and that's actually quite hard. Exhale away. So the leg usually moves a bit quicker than your arm. Inhale, hold, and then exhale. Draw that back in, and we're coming into the same palm print on the same side of the hand print and the same footprint each time. Working from your abdominal muscles, so really rooting the trunk of the body down as the leg and arm stretch away like pieces of elastic. So lengthening those limbs. And then back into centre there. Well done. Okay, I'm going to have a quick glance at my plan here. We're on to single knee folds now. So I'm going to pop those fingers back to think about and stabilise that pelvic position. Again, once you've set this up, if you want to lift your arms to relax the shoulders, you can. So single knee folds now, so we're working a little bit more into the tummy muscles. So we're going to take a breath in, reach the left leg into single knee fold, and our position here is knee above hip, calf parallel to the floor. And in some of your classes, depending on who your teacher is, they might call this tabletop. So we think about the calf like a tabletop with drinks on top. We're not wanting that tabletop to drop. We want to keep parallel to the floor there. And then we lower that back down as we take our breath out. So inhale. We inhale here because it's quite easy to bring the leg in. We exhale because it's harder to take the leg down because that leg's pulling on that pelvis. You're correcting that with the tummy muscles, which we do better on our exhale. So breath in and breath out. Keeping those shoulders relaxed if you're struggling, lift those arms. Breath in and breath out. And we're looking straight up to the ceiling there. And again, I'm going to do 2 more. You'll be doing that set of 10 after you've set up. And last one. And I'm going to relax those arms if they're lifted down. So we're going to take it into double knee fold now. So this is where the tummy work increases. And this is where we need to be careful with the lower back. So when you've tried a couple of these next ones, if there's any pulling or tugging on the lower back, again, it's just popping that pillow or the towel in that lumbar space to press onto, or just pushing that lower back slightly down. So we change the breath for the double knee fold. We breathe out as we lift one leg. We keep breathing out as we lift the other. We take a breath in. And then we exhale as we lower one leg down entirely. Toes, then heel. Keep exhaling, lower the opposite leg down. So you're going to feel that work on the lowering phase as the legs are pulling forwards on the pelvis. Breath in, exhale, lift, exhale, lift. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, lower. Keep that lower back still, and exhale, lower. So it's on that lowering phase that you're being careful that you're not arching the spine with the weight of the legs. If you are, check you're using your core. If the back still arches, that's where you stick that pillow in and you press the lower back towards the pillow or the towel. So breath out, inhale, hold, and again, breath out, and breath out. And again, big breath in, exhale, exhale, big breath in, exhale and exhale. Okay, well done. So we're going to stretch out the lower back now, even if we didn't feel anything untoward in that lower back area, and we use the core beautifully all the way through. It's a good idea to stretch the lower back after heavy abdominal movements. So I'm going to put both arms out now to each side, palms up towards the ceiling, and just take your arms out as high as the shoulders need you to relax themselves down. Legs and feet will keep at hip distance. So there's 2 ways to do the hip roll. Legs squeeze together or nice and open with those legs. We're going to keep them open for this one. We're going to rock the legs across to the right and then take the head across to the left. So as your legs go across, you'll be feeling the outside border of your right foot and the inside border of your left. Take a breath in there. As you breathe out, recruit the tummy muscles, and we take the legs back through the centre with the neck and head, and we swap sides, all on your breath out if you can. And again, breath in to hold, and exhale. So head through the centre with the legs, switch sides, still exhaling if you can, and big breath in, and again, exhale. All the way from one, all the way across to the other side. And big breath in. Exhale. So I'm going to do 2 more again. You're setting yourself up, practicing a few, then you're doing 10. So as you reach the side, whichever side your legs drop to, it's the opposite shoulder that we need to press down. So we're going to be careful that we don't allow the shoulder to lift because we're trying to push those legs too far to the floor. This is a lower back stretch. We want to keep the head, the neck, and the upper back stable as the opposite end of the body goes to stretch. One more there, big breath in, and then back to centre. So finally for our supine routine now, we're going to give the hips a little stretch. So I'm going to bring the right knee into the chest. I'm going to hold loosely on the outsides of that right thigh, and I'm going to stretch that left leg away. So if for any reason you shouldn't bring your hip in fully towards the body into flexion, so for hip replacements for example, or any impingement in the hip, you can just take that knee in as far as you feel comfortable there. And it's this hip on the left side now that we're stretching. So a nice oppositional stretch, one hip fully extended, the other hip into flexion. Take some nice deep breaths there, so good to open your elbows wide so that you don't curl that upper back. We want to spend about 30 seconds here on each exhale, really lengthening that long leg away from the body. And then we're going to carefully lower down the bent hip or the bent leg, and then slide the opposite leg in. And then we're going to change, so we're going to slide the right leg away and draw the left knee into the chest and lengthen out there. Same again, hold that for about 30 seconds. Nice deep breaths. And then again, after those 30 seconds, we're going to slide the foot in, and then we're going to lower the opposite leg down. So to come out of your supine position, we want to be just rolling over to the side, using those arms to push ourselves back up to sit on the mat. We're going to do a part 3 now, because we've only got 30 minutes of recording time on the camera that we're using, which is why we're splitting these videos off at the moment. So we're going to pause this one now, and you're going to log on to part 3 of the video for the rest of the programme. Thank you.